Hello, 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 and welcome back to Shirley Sky Book Reviews. I'm your host, Ryan. Let's dive in. So, I read Claiming His Mate, The Scarlet Mountain Pack Book 1 by Aspen Gray. I read it a couple weeks ago. It's a short Kindle book, it's 99 cents on Amazon. Not sponsored, but I did enjoy it. It's not to my taste, as we'll touch on. There's a lot of issues I have with this book, and I doubt I'll continue the rest of the series, but let's just touch on it, shall we? Maybe this will be for more for your taste, and maybe I'm wrong here. But starting off, characters, we're going to touch on the characters. Spoilers ahead for names and characters and stuff like that, and also we'll touch on the characters just briefly in terms of like their roles in the story here, and then we'll move on to the plot. But starting off, we're introduced to Tate, the alpha, who's working as a bouncer to a club called the Love Knot. Kyle, the reclusive Omega. We'll touch on that literally in the next couple slides here. Kyle's mother, Helena. We have Bryce and Martin, both alphas, friends of Tate's. We have Chrissy, who's Bryce's sister, and then turns into Martin's love interest towards the end. We have Lucas, an alpha, and a revolving cast of nameless betas. We have Osana, who is a fox shifter, as in Tate, Bryce, and Martin are wolf shifters and their fox pack. So just names to keep in mind while I'm going through the plot. I'm not going to be probably touching on a lot of these characters, but just a heads up, we'll go through their stories shortly. But again, story overview, big spoilers ahead for this part. So we begin with Kyle, who is a reclusive Omega. He is urged by his mother to go out to the club, the Love Knot, not to find a mate primarily, but if he does, so good things will happen. Good for him. More so just so he can get out and meet people and have a fucking life. Because like me, he doesn't go out much. So we have that in common, and I did appreciate that aspect of it. There, once he gets there, he gets out of his car. He is then quickly introduced to Alpha, and Alpha in Lucas. And Lucas gets too close, and with his pack of nameless betas, I think there's 2 at this point, he's about to SA Kyle with his flunky betas, and mentions stuff about like passing him around and, good with pups and stuff like that. Just basically demeaning the Omega to the point that as they're no longer human, they're just an Omega, an object, if you will. Tate then steps in, rescues Kyle, kills, I think, 1 beta and injures Lucas or something like that, and brings him back to his cabin, essentially because Kyle is out. He is either passed out, stressed out, and just kind of like injured because, he did fight back. Kyle was a fighter. And then after that, the plot goes off the walls from here, and it goes off the walls fast. So they have a scene in the shower, which I think was nice, getting Kyle clean. They have some sexy times, but Tate, being concerned for Kyle with his health and his injuries, doesn't go much further than just like a blowjob at that point, which is fine. I get it. He's injured. Got to keep him, alive if you want to, fuck him. So it is fairly standard for a ABO shifter romance. It's a meet cute when they meet. Stuff happens, like there's a villain obviously in Lucas, so it's fairly standard tropes and standard fare so far. It's nothing really to write home about, which is quite good. I enjoyed that part. Once then we get introduced to Bryce and Martin. We have the 2 alphas talking to our main lead alpha, Tate, about starting a pack. Maybe Kyle can be the Omega. They're mates, so they want to start a pack. You should start a pack. We'll be in your pack. So now it's an alpha over 2 alphas, and then the alpha's Omega. So it's definitely different in terms of traditional ABO fare from what I've read, at least so far. It may be common in other writers. I'm not sure. Maybe I just haven't read the right books yet. But once that kind of thought gets established, it goes fast. They bring in a bunch of random characters. Bryce's sister Chrissy, Cassie, whatever her name was. She's not even that much important to the story. They bring the mother in to live with them because Kyle's urging, like, I don't want to leave my mom alone. You own this house. We can save on rent that we're renting, stuff like that. Which makes sense. I thought that was a nice touch. Don't leave the mom alone. Like, bring the mom into the pack, have a home for them, stuff like that. And then they just meet a fox pack because of Lucas, and then they join forces and they decide to live together. And then, literally the first heats happen. Kyle has his first heat during a family dinner after the mother gets brought into the house, and literally the first heat happens right before the mom's supposed to show up, and so that's an awkward event, an awkward dinner. Tate wants to basically do nothing but kick everybody out and mount the fuck out of Kyle, and Kyle wants nothing more to do the same but mount the fuck out of Tate, like ride his D until the cows come home. And of course, because it's the first heat, Kyle gets pregnant right after, so it's now they have a child, and Tate's got to go off to fight fucking Lucas and, save the pack because, Lucas is threatening them by encroaching in their territory. He's been traveling through the woods. It's basically Twilight between Lucas and Tate if there were no vampires involved. Yeah, because Lucas is encroaching on both the Fox pack area and their area. So it's just a lot of encroaching territories and stuff like that. And then the Fox pack gets involved. They have a doctor because, of course, since Kyle's pregnant, they have to have a doctor. And it felt very much shoehorned in, very too fast. Like I said, it goes off the walls and it stays off the walls throughout the entire time. And there's a big conflict. Obviously, Lucas shows up, gets killed, gets God. Then there's a happily ever after. I mean, the happily ever after is great. If I would have stopped after the fact that they had sex and like Bryce and Martin showed up and were like, hey, we want to start a pack, I think I would have been good there. And like I said, it's only 120 pages on Amazon. When I read it through my Kindle, I was on my phone. So your mileage may vary if you have like an actual reader for it. It might be even less pages, but for 99 cents, it was fine. But not my favorite, and definitely did not use the tropes that we're going to be touching on in a way that I thought I would like. So, for example, shifters, obviously the ABO dynamic, I enjoy that. I really love traditional ABO fan fiction or fiction, and especially when it's MM and the, male Omega, gets pregnant, gets knocked up. Big fan of that. Also, spoilers for the Impreg, but it's very much just kind of there, in terms of dynamic and name. Alphas having other alphas underneath them seems, for me, strange. I thought there'd be a power dynamic or something like that. Outside of familial relationships, obviously, if dad's the alpha and the son's presenting as an alpha, that's different in my opinion. And then obviously traditional shifters, alphas want to fight alphas. They want to stake their claim, stake their territory, protect their omegas, and protect their pack. So all standard fare, albeit the middle point of the alphas being under other alphas that aren't family might be a little bit strange, but all in all, fair. Hurt Comfort, obviously there's some relationship building moments between Tate and Kyle. They fall fast because they're true mates, and I'm not opposed to that kind of story. I enjoy those kind of fall fast in love, go through their life together, happy ever after, stuff like that. So all in all, it has a lot of stuff I would like, but the point of the pack building happening so fast and just bring in like 5, 6, 7, 8 characters all at once, I was like, I lost the plot at that point. I just read it just to finish it, So moving into rankings, this is probably going to be the lowest book I'll ever review, depending on if the book that I thought I was going to give the lowest review to is as bad as I thought it was. I'll have to reread it when I go on vacation and see how it is. But starting off, we'll go through the plot, the characters, the writing style, the spicy scenes, and overall what my score was. The plot, as I've touched on, goes way too fast. It's a Kindle book. I didn't expect it to be groundbreakingly long, but I didn't expect the pack building to be so fast and so expansive so fast. Usually when I read something like a fan fiction that's building a pack, it's usually the alpha and omega, and then maybe they get a beta, maybe 2 by the end of it. Not everything but the kitchen sink. Or everything and the kitchen sink, because there is a kitchen sink that gets involved here. Not like a major way, it's just there is a kitchen sink scene. So yeah, the characters though, I also give them a 2-star. Literally 1 star for Kyle, 1 star for Tate, and that's basically it. There's not much else I can say about them. I liked Tate and Kyle. I didn't really care for the rest of them, mainly because there were so many characters, they didn't get much time to be characters and get fleshed out. I was just like, oh, there's another character whose name I'm being introduced to. I think Lucas was the best villain possible in this entire book not the best villain possible that I've read so far, but like, he's a pretty solid villain, all things considered. He, acts gross in the beginning, acts entitled, nearly essayed Kyle in the beginning, and, fucking is out for vengeance, for his slight of having a beta killed because he decided to be a dick, So, yeah, as far as writing styles go, this one wasn't that bad for a Kindle book. I've read some dud Kindle books before, and I will probably touch on them, but they're pure porn, pure erotica, so YouTube may not like me for that, but it was what it was. It was pretty okay. And then the spicy scenes, I'll have to give it a 2-star. There was a couple, yes, they had the shower scene in the beginning, the first heat, which was great. I think they had a third one after that, or second one after that, but even then, they just didn't do it for me. Like with all the other characters and like the way the plot kind of progressed from the pack building idea, if you will, it just kind of went too fast, and the spicy scenes were kind of the only things I enjoyed reading. So I would have given this like 4 stars, but it just all in all was not really for me. Overall, this is a 2-star reading for me. I will recommend some better Alpha Omega books like ABO, Shifter Romances, shortly, one of which I've already covered here. But all in all, I didn't mind it. I am glad I got it using the free like discount that I got from Amazon Prime Day shipping, or say like shipping thing that I got like the credit for. I'm glad I spent it on that, because I don't think I would have spent 99 cents on this. I enjoyed it for what it was. I read it in like 2-3 days because it was short, and I was reading it on my lunch at work and don't have that much time to read when I'm, eating. But all in all, not the worst thing I've ever read, but certainly not great by any stretch of my imagination. So as far as recommendations, there are 2 Shifter Romances, one of which I've already touched on in a video, Mind to Save, Pine Ridge Pack Book 1. Same idea. It's a meet cute with a little bit higher stakes than... it's about the same stakes, really. Yeah, one could be leading in death, the other could be leading in SA, so who's to say which is worse, really? But it's a meet cute, basically. One rescues the other. The alpha rescues the true mate, if you will. Less ABO than this one, but it's definitely an MM shifter romance. They mentioned they're shifters. They're bears, bear shifters. The plot is relatively the same. It's, they already have a pre-established pack. It's the 3 of them, the characters and stuff like that. So it's like fairly solid. I would say it's like the more upgraded version of this book, if you will. And then Feral. I've read Feral. I enjoyed it. It's the wrong alpha book. It's definitely more darker in themes, but it's definitely got more drama. It's definitely like if you took, not Downton Abbey, what is it? Bridgerton? No. It's not The Great Gatsby. What book? Pride and Prejudice? Yeah, if you took Pride and Prejudice, where people love each other, but they think they love somebody else, but they're really meant for somebody else. It's like that. They got like different love triangles and shapes and quadrilaterals and pentagons and stuff like that in Feral. It's good. I enjoy it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you wouldn't mind giving me a like, comment, and subscribe, telling me what your thoughts were. If you have ever read this, book on Kindle or anything like that. If you have any book recommendations for me, I would love to hear them. Always feel free to reach out to me either on Twitter. You can find me at Sky Sharada, or on my Twitch channel at Sharada Sky. I stream nightly on Twitch, and I'm usually active on Twitter most days because I have a job that sits me at a desk. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you are enjoying this. I will be doing these every Sunday for the time being, as time allows. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.